Okay. Hello, Milers. This is Beverly coming to you with another Q&A. And I have a good one for you today because this is a very special guest. And she is one of my inspirations that really showed me that I could live in Mexico. And so today, without further ado, I would like to present to some and introduce to others Miss Cindy of Retire in Mexico.
Thank you so much. Yes, I'm Cindy and Fred's in the other room, and we're from Retire in Mexico. We had a YouTube for 4 years, and we had about 2,000 subscribers and another 60% that watched, and 600 videos. And for Christmas, our gift was it got canceled. And you know what? I said, thank you, God, because whatever happens, I say, thank you, God. And yes, we're here. We've helped a lot of people find out if they do or don't fit in Mexico. And if they want to try it, are ready to move, we've always been here to help them.
Excellent. And you know, you were such a resource for me. I remember watching you when I was still in my RV dreaming about coming to Mexico, and you were my biggest encouragement. So I can't do anything but say thank you, thank you, thank you. And as far as your YouTube, I believe God is handling it. This is 2022, so God is making it all new in 2022. So if you don't mind, Cindy, thank you for returning the favor. And we'll just ask you to tell your story, beginning, where are you from?
I'm from South Texas. I've always loved the Mexican culture, the Mexican food, and living around Mexican people, I felt safe, and I still do. And then I lived in Houston as an airline hostess, Dallas, Denton, Orlando. I'm 17 years airline. And then I married my son's father because I did a no-no, and I dated a passenger. And so when he was 6 months old, we moved to Mexico. My child was 6 months old. When my child was old enough to join the Navy in the United States, he did that. And my husband had died, and I went back to the United States to rent from a friend who had been a part of my school that I had had 15 years. And she'd gone back with her 2 girls. And that way I could see my son when he was in port. And he was military 12 years. And yes, and just real quickly, I had met Fred online to find out where to go to a 12-step meeting. And he would drive through town where I lived in Pennsylvania every month and give me a call for about a minute to see if I was okay and I had any questions, because I was very timid in the United States. It taught me that I would always, the rest of my life, help any expat that had to move to any country. I would help them because I was going through so much pain of learning a new digital world in the United States. I felt like I'd been under a rock all my life when I moved back, and people weren't very nice about it. So that was preparing me to be nice to people who did need help adapting to a country. Every time I went to a hotel for 12 years and it was another country or nationality of people running that hotel, I prayed probably 30 minutes an hour for those people to be able to adapt and go through easier than I did. Anyway, real fast, when my roommate found out that that Fred was coming for an actual date, he had to drive 11 hours for the date. And so she contacted my son, and he got on a bus and came up from Norfolk, Virginia to meet this guy. And within 24 hours, he told me to marry Fred.
Really?
He said it was a God thing and not to mess it up. I said, mess it up? Have you ever seen me date anybody? What do you mean mess it up? I just met this guy. And yeah, he said, I'm going to war. And he did 2 times. And he said, I need to know that you married Fred to take care of you so I can take care of myself in those moments and not be scared what's going to happen to my mom. And he did fly in, and he made my corsage and my headgear and ran me to get a dress real quick to get married, because I was an addiction recovery coach in the mountains, the mining mountains for a long time, outreach. And I was helping a lady that had overdosed. And I missed picking up my dress, my corsage, and my headgear for the wedding.
Yeah.
He took me to Walmart and he made it for me. And he said, don't you ever tell anybody I did this. And he sewed all his patches on in his uniform and gave me away.
Oh, well,
So
it sounds like you raised your son right, because he gave you good advice.
yes. So
Well,
one time I said, I wish, I don't want to be here. I really want to be in Mexico. I'm not happy. And we worked really hard. We built our house, everything. And he said, Fred, did you hear Mom? Yeah. Would you move to Mexico if your mom's happy there? And he had a surprise waiting for me. My son did, that I didn't know. And listen to this, gang. God's in charge here. So we're supposed to go meet Fred's family up north for Christmas, and he hadn't put his luggage in the car. And I said, you got to get with it. We're leaving and you need to meet his family. And he said, I'm not going. And I said, you're not going? And Fred elbowed me in the car and said, leave the guy alone. He's in love. I said, in love? He said, don't you see him on Facebook talking all night in Spanish every night for 6 months? He said, Mom, I'm going to Mexico. And he fell in love. And 3 days after he was here, he called us and said, my fiance and I have got it all worked out. We know everything that costs rent, food, and everything. And you guys move on down. You quit work and y'all can live here on Social Security.
wow. Wow. I love what you said about God is in charge. So sometimes things change, but God is in control.
Yep. And we couldn't find an apartment. And he kept trying to get in touch with this one guy, never answered. So he said, I need to go find a mirror for our apartment. Come on with us to this souvenir place. And there was the man that owned the apartment. He was also shopping. And he said, I need that studio apartment with the terrace for my mom. He said, oh yeah, sure, I'm going to vacate it. He was living there while building his mansion. And he said, I'm vacating it in half a month. And I said, well, okay, let's sign. He said, okay, we'll go have coffee and sign. And I said, I'll leave. What's the rent? And it was 290 pesos a month. I know. And I said, do you want me to leave you a deposit? And he said, when you get home, you can send it. And so we paid rent for 6 months. And we have many videos about that terrace studio and how we upgraded it and made it a real home. And I teach people how to take a studio and turn it into a tiny home, you know?
Yes, a tiny home. Yes, make it your own. Well, listen, can you explain more about what part you live in?
Now,
Yes.
I'm in Bajías de Huatuco. It has lots of names, so y'all don't get confused. Just look up the airport code, HUX. This place has got a lot of names. It's got a lot of communities. It's got 9 bays and 36 beaches. It's got a coastline to go on your ATV, and they're legal here. And it's got organic produce. The people are so kind here. There's a lot of community services you can volunteer, and we help a lot to let people know more about them so they grow and grow and grow. These community services, little churches out in the rural areas, the shoe boxes with gifts at Christmas, food bank. We got big stuff going on in food bank because during COVID, these people didn't have tourists and they didn't have a job, but food bank helped them eat. And it's a wonderful community. Most of the people here are Canadian, and they come 6 months a year. But we do have, let me tell you something about the best part in Fred's eyes. The whole water for the whole city is purified.
Oh, that is amazing.
So don't tell me I've got purified water. Yes, you do. In Cancun and big hotel resorts, they have their purifiers, but you've never seen a city with purified water.
Not in
And
Mexico.
and they take the sewer water and they refine it and they water the green areas. We've got lots of gardeners. They're called fauna tour, lots. Like bus loads come in and it's beautiful. They keep it beautiful. And any water left over that's purified from the sewer that they didn't use to water all the plants goes back into the ocean carefully. It's timed to go little by little. It's timed so that they don't hurt the reefs for the snorkeling and the sea life, because we've got whales that come. And we've got porpoises and stingrays and turtles releases, lots of turtle releases. And it's not just for the kids, it's for us too. We love it. There's so much to
Sounds like
do here.
Huatuco is eco-friendly.
We're the #2 eco-friendly city in the world. Now, I didn't say in the Central America, I said the world.
In the world.
We have natural reserves and the most beautiful tropical birds everywhere because of the natural reserves. You can hear them in the morning. We have, listen, we've got trees, medicinal trees everywhere. We've got moringa, we've got neem, we've got everything growing around. Thanks to the Canadians, they brought them years and years ago. They've done a library here. They've planted lots of medicinal trees, mango trees everywhere.
Wow.
And it's just, and you can go to rural areas around and really enjoy. And if you get too hot, and you will get too hot, you can go up to Pluma Hidalgo and cool off there for the weekends. It's just a one, and you're close to Oaxaca City for big time shopping. And we've got good doctors.
This is absolutely amazing, amazing, amazing. Because I was going to ask you, why did you choose to live there? I think you've answered that.
Yes. And you never came. You were going to come and visit us.
Yeah. I got bitten by the beach and sunshine, and we'll talk about that when you interview me, why I chose this area. Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to invite you. We have a little studio now for loved ones and friends, and you're welcome to come and stay if you want to check the place.
Thank you. This is just a home base. I intend to explore as much of Mexico as possible, as you well know, and Huatuco is on my list.
Well, you're welcome.
Thank you. I was going to ask, can you please share, how did you get your residency?
Well, there is a lawyer that we use in Huatuco. He's very professional, and he's quite a gentleman. And he mainly deals with, and I love this, people who have relatives in Mexico.
Yeah.
Are people who have descendants that they don't have to be alive, but if their mom or dad are descendants of Mexico, he knows how to help you know exactly what papers, apostles. He'll give you a list and he helps you get that done. And he's so extremely affordable. So all I had to do was get my son's his voter's registration when he works out of the country and comes back and forth. And he came into Salina Cruz and got it real quick, his voter registration. And all I needed was a copy of it. And I didn't need my son to be with me. And then the lawyer and I and Fred were able to take care of that because we have human rights in Mexico. You have human rights. You can be with your loved ones. You can be with your husband. You can be with your mom and dad. You can be with your grandkids.
Oh, that is so important.
Yes, it's called. I'll send you the name of that particular type of visa. Okay, but I got permanent immediately, and then Fred got because he has a right to be with his wife. He got temporary, just 2 years, and then last September he got his permanent. And that doesn't have any, it has no salary requirements.
Excellent.
It's because I have a right to live with my family. That's Mexican.
That is so important for the viewers to hear that, because you already know that is not the case in other countries, and we'll just leave it like that.
Yeah.
Well, you know, you've already talked about benefits. Would you like to share some other benefits specific to living in Huatuco specifically, or Mexico in general?
Well, I do like the fact that you can have an ATV, that everything's walkable, that we have a wonderful bus system, that we have what we call collectives, where you get 3 to 4 people in the same taxi, and you go pretty far to all the surrounding little cities, like where the surfing is and the turtles are. We've got Puerto Escondido, Zapolite. We have a lot of Pachutla surrounding places, and you can go for 35 cents each, 35 pesos each in a collective, you know, so we can get around. And I do like the transportation, or you can walk everywhere. But I want to point out the most important reason that people come here. The number one reason that people come to Huatuco is so their bodies can stop hurting. Within 2 hours after you get off the plane, you start feeling mighty good. And people who said they couldn't walk, and they are, I've seen them physically shuffling. And in 2 days, they are able to dance. I've seen people that say, but I can't walk more than a block. And in 2 weeks, they're walking all over the city, hours and hours. There's something here, and I'm told it's the level we are with the equator. I'm told it's the air breeze that comes in, and I'm told it's all the National Reserve Forest that have made this zone extremely healthy.
Wow.
And you don't have to eat fruits and vegetables that were picked 3 months ago and brought on a container across the ocean and are still green when you get them at the supermarket. So Fred goes, we live in a Mexican neighborhood on purpose, you know, with the dogs barking and the kids playing outside and a few roosters. We like it. And around the corner, Fred can go get every piece of chicken or meat or produce I need for that day.
Excellent.
And it's already ready to eat. I don't have to put it away for 3 weeks or 2 weeks to ripen.
Exactly.
That's called good health. And the doctor told me the reason we got over the big C trauma so fast and so well is because we ate so well.
So Cindy, I understand you will do a full video detailing that upcoming.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to that. I will be front and center.
Yes, we're going to tell you everything our doctor told us to tell you about the big C sickness, and he is the health specialist of that sickness at the IMPS here. Excellent.
Wow. Well, listen, Cindy, I know you've already shared this wonderful place, Mexico, and some benefits. What if people are looking and they still are on the fence? Can you recommend maybe some tips that people from the US who are contemplating retiring in Mexico now? Just a couple of tips.
Yeah, you need to try to visit the place first. You need to work on your patience and adaptability with other people's ideas and ways of doing things. We need the mentality that our way isn't the only way, or you will not be happy. You got to be adaptable. You know, we've got a few videos on that, and you need to get your health in order. You need to know what type of situation you need to be in for good health. You know, the doctor may have told you you need a dry place, you need sunshine, you can't get too hot, you need sea level. You need to know what type of place you need for your health. Okay. You need to know what kind of, if you're going to be okay without social events that are cultural and concerts, you know, if you're going to need a city or be near a city with cosmopolitan events, then that's what you need to do, or you're going to be sad.
Right.
You're going to be sad. You need to know if it's too far to be trying to travel to, and because you want to go home a lot. because we traveled 3 airplanes to get here, but that's okay. We don't mind. We have a house back home for our son to use. He needs it. And he'll be coming tomorrow, and he's going to go on 3 planes. But a lot of people just want 1 plane, because they're going to go back and forth a lot. Mm-hmm. So your transportation, your foods that you need, the cost of living, our rental on the coast in the most sought after resort in the area is expensive. It's expensive, but it's still not expensive for American standards. But right. You can get cheaper in other areas. Do you want to be where they're like I say, museums, and be on buses and a hectic, for me, hectic big city atmosphere? Maybe that's what you like. Yeah. Maybe you need that. Maybe you get bored laying on the beach and snorkeling. But we have a lot of, find out if you need to be in a place that has English speaking churches, or if you're going to be in a community where there are some Christians that speak English that are meeting. You know what? I'm going to be very open. If you are in a 12-step program, and I am for 17 years, there is no way I would have come here if it didn't have my AA in English. And that's the first thing we found here before moving. You don't want to come here and put yourself in jeopardy. I can do this. No, you can't do it. You can't live without people of like-minded religion, like-minded philosophies. You're going to have a support team. We've got a video on building your support team. We're getting older, not younger. We're going to need each other. We had the big C, illness, and we needed friends that help us find medicines that were hard to find at the moment, that checked in on us. We needed that. Yes. We didn't even tell many people, but we had our support team. So you want to start making friends on Facebook in the cities you're interested in, and ask the questions. Some people are rude. Just ask God for duck feathers. You'll be okay. Get your questions answered. But don't believe everything you read in Facebook. Make sure you're talking to people that have been there. I've been here 25 years total. I'm not going to ask a person 2 years here if this city is going to have my doctor, my church, my 12-step, if I'm going to be able to find my exercise coach, my gym. Work it out with people that really have been getting accessorized by others who have been there. It's called sponsoring each other.
That is such good advice, and support group is so important. That is important. But I want to stop to say I am so thankful. Congratulations, both you and Fred, on sobriety. And Cindy, thank you for sharing that, because you are helping people, and that was not part of the discussion, but it's so important. You are a resource.
Thank you.
Well, speaking of resources, where can people find you and Fred now?
Yeah, they're saying, where did Fred and Cindy go? And some email us. So we have a website. We can keep you updated. I'm working day and night to get these 2 things going. And it's called retireInMexico.live. Okay. And I'm going through 600 videos to put them in there in the order that people can look to find out the same questions you asked me. Mm-hmm. And then they can also just click to go see a channel that we have that's hosted by a private video hoster, and just browse through all the videos. You can find us in our new YouTube, and Fred now owns a new YouTube, and it's called Life in Huatulco. At first, when you Google it, you'll see a lot of videos about life in Huatulco. And then if you just keep on scrolling down, there's Fred and Cindy in a little circle in their face, and you click, and please subscribe. We have a whole 5 videos, but we're growing.
You're growing, and we want people to find you now to help you continue to grow. And for those listening, I will share all of her information. Look for that in the description below, so that you can go over and say, hey, Cindy, because we want you to continue to grow. Would you like to have the last word? I'm done with my questions, but you said God is in charge, so I'll give you the last word.
I'm telling you, I've learned to make websites and learned a big host for videos. I've learned to use Canva. I'm 75 years old and I'm having to learn these things. And I just go, am I supposed to be learning all this at 75? And I'll go, show me, God, show me, because I don't want to do this if you don't want me to do this. And he'll bring immediately another geek in to say, hi, Cindy, how you doing? Is there some way I can help you? And he's just bringing in these geniuses with patience and love to help me. So God is in charge. If he's not finished with you yet, then you're going to keep on trucking and working to be a better service to him and other people on this earth that he wants you to help.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Cindy and Fred, for everything you do. And you're right, you are learning and you are a pioneer. And for those of us that were looking to move to Mexico, you are an angel. I just believed and trusted all of your advice, and it came to fruition and it happened. And I'm pretty sure that you will continue. So all things new in 2022. And thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your time.
Oh, thank you.